We have in studio former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman Richard Collier joining us. Richard, thanks for making some time this afternoon for us.
No problem, man. Glad to be here.
And let's first start off. You played in 8 NFL games. You started once between 2006 2008. Everybody's very familiar with your name. But 3 years ago was the incident, the shooting incident. You were shot numerous times. Those gunshots left you paralyzed. You're wheelchair bound. And I want to ask you, how have you been doing the last year? Because people want to know. People want to know about Richard Collier.
I've been doing great, man. I've been enjoying life. Anybody who knows me in my neighborhood or whatever, they see me smile all the time. You know, I'm married now. I enjoy life.
That's wonderful, and we were talking about that before we came on, and during the break. You've been married about a year or so now. You stood for your wedding ceremony, which was just awesome. You had a prosthetic limb, you had a special body brace. How uplifting was that moment for you and for your family?
It was very gratifying for me, man. It was something that I really worked hard for, you know, a year before I even got married. So I worked on it. You know, the brace was really big at first, and as I got stronger, it scaled down, and you know, it slimmed up to where I could wear it under my tux. And you know, actually the first time I got in it and walked, it was probably about 8 months before the wedding.
Okay.
So I got to see how it feels, and I wanted to walk down the aisle, but I mean, that's a lot of work.
Oh, I can imagine.
My tux would have been like drenched, but yeah, I got to stand. I stood there. I had a walker, you know, and my brother stood right next to me. I'm like, if I fall, you better grab me.
No, you're still a big man, and you're massive. But do you think he could have caught you and saved you?
My brother's pretty big too. He's about 6'4". He's pretty strong. He was like, I got you, little bro. You know, even though I'm like 3 inches taller than him, but yeah, it was good, man. You know, I got to see my wife. I didn't want to kiss her, you know, after the vows and everything from sitting in my chair. It was just big for me to stand up, and you know, I forgot how tall I really was. You know, it was really fun though. It was a lot of hard work. I was very sore afterwards, but you know, it was all worth it.
That's awesome. And how many hours a day did you practice at? Because I just have to imagine the arm strength and the will of your mind to be able to do that for so long.
Oh, it was man, 2-3 hours a day, sometimes twice a day. You know, just getting the brace fitted and refitted and coming in, getting measured and changing things. You know, they had to change the prosthetic so much because your leg, you know, it gets bigger, then gets smaller. You know, so it was a lot of work, man. You know, the guys at Hangar, I really thank them for it because they really were helpful. They were there at the wedding, helped me get dressed under the tux. You know, they were there putting it on. You know, so they were very helpful, man. And I just thank everybody that helped me through that.
Before we get to the gridiron and the football season, just one more question regarding the shooting 3 years ago. I feel like if I were in your situation, I feel like if others were in your situation, you'd start to think and you'd maybe ask yourself, why me? Did you frequently ask why me to yourself?
I never questioned God's fate, man. I never questioned it. You know, I just feel like, you know, it was something that happened. It was unfortunate. I didn't like it. You know, it was senseless, very senseless. But you know, I just had to move on. That was the biggest part for me. Once I realized everything that had happened, because when I woke up, I was like, man, hey, you know, 2 or 3 weeks, I'm back on the field. You know, I didn't even know because I didn't feel any pain or anything. I didn't know anything that had happened. So I was just like, you know, when I found out, I was like, you got to get strong, man. You got to get strong mentally for your friends, your family, because everybody's looking at me to see how I'm going to react, and I just had to be strong, you know, and my faith, it really, I got a boost, and I just went from there.
That's great.
That's great to hear. Richard Collier, former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman, joining us in studio, smile on his face. I absolutely love it. And we were talking with John, who works for us here at the station. He's a Valdosta, Georgia boy. Y'all were talking back and forth about high school football. You won the 2004 Division II National Championship up there with Valdosta State. They've started the season 2-0. They've been playing pretty well. They've got Albany State tomorrow night. Have you been keeping up with your alma mater? You like what you've seen so far?
Yeah, I like what they're doing in Valdosta, man. We have a storied history. You know, we have a good program. You know, it's fairly still young, but you know, we have a strong program, good coach. We're still signing guys. We signed Larry Dean. He signed to the Vikings this year. He's on the active roster, so that's good. I just, I'm a Blazer, man. We won the championship in '07 also, so. I hope we keep going, man. I'm a booster now, so I love it.
Well, that's great. Very nice. Well, the head coach, when you were there at Valdosta State, Chris Hatcher, he's no longer there. 3 seasons at Georgia Southern. He's currently in his 2nd year at Murray State. Do you stay in touch with Coach Hatcher?
I talk to Coach Hatcher every now and again, him and Coach Bostic. It's weird because, part of the coaching staff, they went to Murray State with Hatcher. Well, they followed him to Georgia Southern and Murray. And, Coach Dean and some of the other staff, they stayed at Valdosta. So I'm still at Valdosta talking to Coach Dean because he was my offensive coordinator there. And, Hatcher, I always talk to Hatcher. He called me. He was one of the first people to call me when I got hurt, and, he's a hard-nosed guy. And, when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade, Rich. I'm going to call you back. So I was like, all right, Coach. But he's that kind of guy. I think he instilled a lot in me. He taught me how to be a champion. And, a lot of my success I give to Coach Hatcher.
Very cool. We're talking with Richard Collier right here on Miller on Sports on Talk Radio 600 WBOB. Well, let's get to the Jacksonville Jaguars because big news 10 days ago. Some people were shocked when the Jags released David Garrard after that luncheon at the Prime Osborne. The team said it wasn't a money issue. About a week later, Luke McCown started for the Tennessee Titans. Were you surprised that David Garrard was released?
I was very shocked, because from my understanding, I thought he was going to be the guy, at least for this year. So when, I heard he got released, it was, shocking news for me and, everybody I know. So, I don't like the way the situation went down. But, obviously they feel like it was something that needed to be done. Mm-hmm. As far as not being a money issue, he saved $9 million. I don't know if that didn't help it a little bit, but it's football, man. It's a rough game. You hear one day, you go on the next. I have a lot of friends who are still looking for jobs. That could be good players. So it's just part of the business.
The NFL is a business indeed. And you were with the Jags that fateful Friday afternoon when they chose not Byron Leftwich, but they went with David Garrard. What was the locker room like when y'all received that news? Was it just as shocking as taking Luke McCown over David Garrard and saying, Garrard, see you later?
It was mixed emotions because some guys were really angry. Guys that were friends with Byron, they didn't like how it was done. They said it should have been done. And other guys were like, well, Dave, it's our quarterback now, so, we can't go in the past. We need to move forward. Me, I was, like a fly on the wall. I was just there like, I'm glad I didn't get cut. So I didn't, with Byron, I don't know the situation. I don't know why he got released. So, but with Dave, I'm pretty sure that a lot of guys were more shocked in that situation than with Byron.
Being an offensive lineman, you started once, but you played in numerous games. Was there a difference? Did you ever have the opportunity to be in the huddle with Byron Leftwich and then Garrard? Were there major differences, if so?
With me, I just know from practice, Dave looked a little more seasoned than Byron. Byron looked a little inaccurate to me, as far as how he played. But he does well for Pittsburgh. But when he was with us, he didn't seem like he was as accurate as Dave. Dave was on fire that year. In the preseason he was good, and I think that they made a good choice that year because obviously we went to the playoffs and we went pretty far. But it just he didn't get it done anymore after that, Dave.
Very interesting. Richard Collier joining us in studio, former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman. Well, the Jags 1-0. They defeated the Titans that first week, and some people weren't that impressed, but I said Monday afternoon, a win is a win. What did you see from that win?
I saw some guys fighting and clawing to get a win, and they stuck it through, and they finished. I think that the offensive line, they need to, pick it up a little bit. It all starts with both lines, defense and offense. Especially going against the Jets this week, they're going to have to get after Pretty Boy. They're going to have to, get it done. It's going to be a big test, man. To get the city backing them, they need to win games like this. Games that are questioned. I think they really need to come out and put on a good showing.
I fully agree. Richard Collier in studio. We'll talk some more after this next time out. Former Jacksonville Jaguars offensive lineman talking about the offensive line, the defensive line. He would know quite well a former left tackle in the National Football League. Miller on Sports. Remember, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at Miller on Sports. The Florida News Network is coming up next. We're always brought to you by the law offices of Ron Scholes, accident and personal injury lawyers fighting for you. One of their attorneys always on call at 1-855-WE-FIGHT. 3 locations. Check out their website now or later. You heard WeFight.com. Monday and Tuesday, I'll be down at City Hall Pub talking what else? We've got football all weekend. That's what I'll be talking about. Monday and Tuesday, find me at City Hall Pub, situated between the baseball grounds of Jacksonville and the Veterans Memorial Arena. More of Richard Collier in studio right here on Miller on Sports, and you can listen live always. 600WBOB.com.